Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a beer from Sierra Nevada. This is their take on Brut IPA. So if you don't know what Brut IPA is, please check on the link below, above. I actually did a video about that, but pretty much it means dry IPA. So it's a style that uses a specific enzyme that ends up eating through all the sugars and pretty much completely drying out the beer. So this is their take, Sierra Nevada's take on Brut IPA. Started from very, very small craft breweries out on the West Coast, and then now pretty much the largest craft brewery in the country is trying out the style. So just like they've tried to take their hand at New England style IPA, they're going to try out Brut IPA. I know New Belgium's trying that out as well. So let's see how this one turns out. So the beer comes in a beautiful clear color, comes in with a light gold and beautiful clarity on there. And then actually, if I poured a little bit more, let's see how this looks. Yeah, a good amount of carbonation on there. To style, this beer should have a little bit more carbonation than your traditional IPAs. So let's dig into the aroma. I have a little cold, but it's not too expressive. I get a little bit of scallion, some of that kind of earthy green dank character. Yeah, mostly that, a little bit of onion, but it's pretty nondescript on its like expressive, really Sierra Nevada and IPA kind of nose to it. So yeah, let's see how it tastes. Cheers. Okay, so it is dry. It is refreshing. This is such a weird beer. Wow. So the hoppiness is pretty unapparent. It doesn't really show on the nose, and then it does that kind of weird earthy scallion-y thing on the back end. Yeah. The strange thing about this beer is that like it would be such a hard beer to try to figure out blind. So what this really tastes like is sort of like an American blonde ale or like a German Pils maybe. So to style, this beer involves Pilsner malt, just like the lightest German malt that you can get. You don't want to mess around with it, don't want to make it too sweet, so you don't mess around with any of the darker malts. So straight Pilsner malt. So straight Pilsner malt, you're already thinking of Germany and lagers and stuff like that, because you get that kind of fat, full malt flavor up front and that specific Pilsner malt quality, which is a little bit white grape-like. Yeah, and it also reminds you a little bit of something that used a lot of Pilsner malts, which an American brewery can do if they're making American blonde ale. Even though this beer is dried out more, it's a lower finish and gravity than those beers, it somehow has a little bit more of a rounded, sweeter kind of thing up front, and that might be the ale yeast strain that they're using. On the back end, you get, again, more of that kind of scallion, earthy, dank flavor profile with a medium to medium minus bitterness. Could taste like an American blonde ale again, and but it's a little too dry, right? So then it's too dry, so then your mind goes to lager, and your mind goes to lager, and then you think of Germany. So I hope that makes some sense. Like, this is pretty much a light Pilsner malt forward, slightly hoppy, dry beer. So it's somewhere dancing in between what your mind goes to thinking of American hopping and ale qualities with an American blonde ale, which is a pretty neutral kind of tasting beer. And then it has the Pilsner malt qualities, the dryness of a lager, so like you're thinking, and a little bit of hoppiness, so you're thinking German Pils. It's somewhere dancing around there. It does Brut, which is dry, but it doesn't really do IPA for me at all. It doesn't really smell like IPA. It doesn't really taste like IPA. It's just pretty much a dry, light beer. Yeah. So if you like that and you're trying to find a relatively neutral, kind of slightly hoppy kind of beer, then I recommend this one. But for me, it doesn't really do the style any much justice, other than the fact that, yes, it's not messy. It's not completely like the beer fails when it doesn't have that dryness to it. And this at least does that pretty decently. So at least it succeeds in that. But it fails in the hoppiness part, which is pretty huge. That's a rating. It actually might have a little bit more carbonation. As I'm drinking it, sort of see the carbonation dancing around there. So again, to style, it should have a little bit more carbonation than the amount of carbonation in your standard American IPA. So let's go into 84 on this one. It's good beer. It's fine. It's a crusher. Not too much to write home about. So yeah, 84 is good. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Let me know what you think. Later.